Hello, everybody, and welcome to our third episode of Clinton Conversations. Today, we have a special guest with us. Her name is Aubrey Benyon.
Hi.
So, Aubrey, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing here.
Sure. I work for a private engineering firm that is hired by UDOT and local governments to bring improvements to each community. So we have been the designers, and I particularly do the public outreach for three projects that are touching Clinton. And I know people are well aware of the construction that comes to the area, but maybe not as aware of the work that happens, all the steps that have to take to get to construction. And we're definitely working through that phase too within Clinton. So I work with UDOT. I don't work for the Department of Transportation, but I'm hired by them to do public outreach in communities that are affected by road construction.
Gotcha. I think the word UDOT is Clinton's favorite and least favorite word because we've all been so affected by it, especially the last couple months, but last couple years even. It's just been constant construction.
Spoiler, it's not ending. When people want to share their concerns about road work coming to their community, I always remind them about what a good thing it is that you've created a community that people want to be in, that this is where they want to be, and we have to grow. And you get the services, right? UDOT is responsive to the growth and provides the upgrades and the services to the community in order to keep it thriving.
And that's been one of my favorite things that I've realized is that they are responding rapidly to the growth that's been happening in this area.
Yeah.
Not only just within Clinton and West Point, but within the surrounding area. There's
all of Davis and Weber County.
All of Davis and Weber County.
Yep.
It's been amazing to see.
I think way, way, way back, Utah County had a lot of years where there was a lot of attention down south, and we knew we had been planning all this time that Davis and Weber would get the next round of attention, and we are in the thick of it right now, but it's also, we still have some years ahead of us.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And so you said that you're in charge of three specific projects.
Yes. So we have two construction projects, 2000 West, which people are probably well aware of because it's been going for 2 years. And I want to we'll get this out of the way right away, but all lanes are going to be open by October 20th. So we are in the final stretch. And then 1800 North, which intersects with 2000 West, right? So that intersection is pretty tight, but 1800 North just got started earlier this year and will go for 3 years total. We will open in 2027. But then the next project that might not be on people's radar as well known because it's not yet in construction, but just continuing those improvements through that are on 2000 West, sending those north of the 1800 North intersection and just sending that all the way up through Roy and West Haven. So
gotcha.
That one's in design. There's engineers clicking away on their computers to make it just right. And then we won't see construction barrels on that project for a little while until these other two settle down a little bit. But that doesn't mean that we're not working on it. I mean, the UDOT and the engineers are working for years and years and years before construction really gets going. Yeah. And so that's where we are on the 108 project.
I think that was such an interesting thing for me to discover. It's not just, okay, well, now we're going to work on 2000.
Yeah.
No, this has been planned for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on the UDOT website. I was tinkering around with it for a little while, and they've got construction projects planned years in advance.
So many years. We do an environmental clearance phase where we study all the environmental impacts of coming to an area and whether that's like threatened and endangered species or the impacts to additional noise or, air quality, the local economy, things like that. We study that. And then once that is approved, then we move into the design. And that usually takes a year or two to get it just so. And then we start construction. So it is years and years.
Yes.
And just as a fun fact, I've said this at city council meetings and things, presentations I've given before, but the 2000 West design kicked off at the start of COVID. It was our very first, at-home Zoom meeting where we thought, how are we going to start designing a project when we're all working in all these various places? But so that project started, let's just say spring of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And then we have gone through, construction of 2000. We've started the design and construction of 1800. And we're starting we're going through the design of this next phase of SR 108 to the north.
Mm-hmm.
And the current construction timeline puts the end of construction on 108 at 2029. So if you think of where we started in 2020 and we will be in this area, I will be driving through Clinton and through this area nearly every day until 2029. That's 9 years of being here. And I remind the contractors and everybody, every subcontractor, every laborer, everybody, remind them that we are halfway through. We're not, we're at the start of this. And to recognize that you're sharing the road with local residents and to play nice and to shop locally, to eat at the fast food joints that are maybe in the busiest and most congested area of construction, like keep these businesses going. And so there are hundreds of people involved in making these projects happen. And I remind all of them that maybe of what the impact to the local residents is as they're working in your community.
Yeah. And that year, 2029, can seem so incredibly scary. But at the same time, you realize, no, this is 3 separate projects. Yeah. It's not, well, we're just deciding to rip up everything in Clinton all at once. No, this has been planned. We're going to do 2000, then we're going to do 1800, and then SR 108, which we call 2000, which is the superior name for it.
And here's the tricky thing about that project. It crosses Davis County and Weber County. So it's known as 2000 in Clinton city boundaries. It's known as 3500 West in Roy. And then once we get up to West Haven, they call it Midland Drive. And so as we were trying to figure out how to name it, because it makes sense to just continue 2000 West, right? We're just going to the phase 2. Well, we can't call it 2000 West.
Because then nobody
for much longer, right? And we can't call it 3500. We can't call it Midland Drive. So we just call it SR 108, which is a very unsexy name for a project, but that's just the state route, and that's what it is.
Yeah, I've heard the project announced SR 108, but in my head I'm like, oh, well, that's not anywhere near Clinton. I don't know of any road.
What is that?
What is that? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people.
2000 in Clinton.
Yeah,
and other things in other cities. So it'll just be SR 108.
Yeah. So with that construction going on for a while, obviously some businesses have been impacted. What are your suggestions on how we can keep those businesses afloat, I guess, would be the best way to ask?
I would say be patient, continue to shop. Sure, go ahead and shop at the big boxes, right? I think those ones have a lot more resiliency because people need their they need their Saturday Lowe's run. They need their grocery runs. They need to go to Walmart. But consider where you can shop local, even if it takes an extra 3 or 4 minutes. In reality, that sometimes, to just go to the next driveway if it's closed, or to flip a U, or to, make your way around, detour through a few other streets to access those stores. Those are the people who are impacted. They probably feel the pain of it the strongest. And those are the people who could benefit from it the most. So just do your part, be patient, and give it that extra time that it might take to shop locally.
I've tried, especially the last couple of weeks, to try to keep my purchases local, and it has taken a bit of effort, but honestly, it isn't as bad as everybody makes it out to be. Once you're in the parking lot, it's great to hit a few.
Yeah, while you're there.
Yeah, while I'm there, I'll go to Fizz, and then I'll go to Wedgies, which is right next door. I'm like, okay, well, I hit 2, and I only had to go through 1 construction zone.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just beg, if that's not too bold, people to shop local and to think about what it's doing to their tax base, to their local economy, and to their neighbors. In most instances, the business owners are local as well. And so you really are supporting your neighbors.
Yeah, I love that. So we talked a little bit about 2000 West and how that project is going to be completed in October, which I'm so excited about.
So you'll see a few construction vehicles still. So right now, I know it is wild to see so much of the road blocked off, right? We still have everybody shifted to the east side and they're traveling 1 lane in each direction. By October 20th, we will open that wide open. And so there will be 2 lanes in each direction that folks will be able to travel. But for about a month following that, you'll still see some construction vehicles there. They'll just be doing all of their work out of the travel lane. So, still a little bit of patience while that work continues, but the travel lanes is what people are super excited about and what will kind of ease the congestion of it being a construction zone still.
And with them working on the side lanes, can you tell us a little bit about what the project is on the sides of the road?
Yeah. So, if you can remember what it was like way back when, it was one lane in each direction with a center turn lane, right? Where you could, swoop into the middle and make a left-hand turn. Very narrow shoulders, narrow sidewalks, and this is providing 2 lanes in each direction, improved intersections, like up at 1800 North. It is going to be 2 left turn lanes in each direction, which is just going to
that'll be fantastic. I take that left turn every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for those.
So much breathing room to get through the intersection. But then off the side of the road, so widened shoulders, which your shoulder is also going to serve as, like we call them your spandex cyclists, right? Is where your really intense cyclists are going to ride in that shoulder. And then you have your curb gutter and then your sidewalk. And then on one side of the road, on the side that is we're still working on that side of the road, there is a sometimes 10, sometimes 12-foot walking trail, which is really going to look like just an extra wide sidewalk. And that is a really well-connected, like UDOT as a whole is putting a lot of emphasis on trail connections. And so that extra wide sidewalk will provide room for a lot of pedestrian, accessibility for people who want to walk, ride, scoot, however they want to get through, but there will be plenty of space. And then you'll notice there's also an area between the curb and gutter and the sidewalk that it's our stamp stained park strip. Okay. So it has a little bit of a pattern to it. It looks like cobblestone or something. That's really kind of a corridor where all of your signs go, your speed limit signs. That's where some utilities are underground. And so that park strip also adds an extra buffer from the travel lane. So you have, it just provides a lot more safety for people who are just some distance for people who are walking or riding or casually strolling, down 2000 West, from the travel lanes where speeds are going a lot faster than you would want to be close to them.
Oh, 100%. No, that'll be fantastic. I personally am really excited for it just because in that area, it has so many businesses and I see people walking there all the time, but before this construction, it's obviously not as much now, but after the construction, it's going to be really nice to have Clinton be a little bit more walkable than it was in the past. Yeah.
And I think you had mentioned that people were curious about bus stops and if those were going to remain. All the bus stops, they maybe shift a little bit here or there, but the bus stops go back and stay in place just as they ever did before.
Awesome. We love our public transportation.
We do. We want to make it easier for people to get to and from.
Well, that'll be fantastic to have all the lanes open in 2000. And then with 1800, you said that project's going to run until 2027.
We started that one in March, and that is a big one. That's a big one. That's where I wish I had a map here. I could point and show things for you.
A whiteboard.
I need a laser pointer.
Yeah.
But that one, if you can imagine, there's no interchange off of I-15 right there, right? You go 650 west and then you go all the way up to 5600 south. So we are going to add an interchange with on and off ramps in all directions at 1800 north. So right now it's just that there used to be a 7-Eleven there, and then it was a Mexican restaurant, and then there's a Maverick on the other side of the street. Just an ordinary 2-lane intersection. Imagine that going from what it was to 7 lanes wide, so 3 lanes in each direction.
Whoa.
Plus a center turn lane. And that goes to a new interchange off of I-15. And I-15 will go over, so the ramps you'll get off, and I-15 will be overhead, and then so you would be under the bridge, and you would go west to 1800 that way. In addition to that, Hill Air Force Base, there's been so much coordination. It's the complications to make this happen.
Oh, I bet.
Kind of unreal. But Hill Air Force Base is constructing a new gate that will kind of be timed with the opening of our interchange. So that will ease a lot of congestion for the other gates on
Yeah.
up and down I-15 to just help people get in and out of the base a little bit easier in the morning and afternoons. And then so 1800 North interchange is actually being constructed. You can see it right now if you're driving north on I-15 or driving south too, I suppose, but you can see them kind of far off in what looks like Hill Air Force Base land, building a bridge. That you can see some kind of supports and some walls that are being constructed. And then just this last week, they started to pave. So you'll see asphalt where the ramps go. And that's where you will get off. So the road kind of swoops. I-15, you're going straight, and it swoops over to the east onto what used to be Hill Air Force Base land.
Yeah.
And the federal government and the state government did a land swap. A literal act of Congress to make this happen. So complicated, like
I love
10 plus years ago. So they did a land swap. And so that's where the interchange is built. By building it that far to the east, it provides some separation from Main Street. Because if you think about what it's like to get off at 650 North,
yes,
it's very tight, right? You get off and you are immediately met at a stoplight. And so by building the interchange so far to the east, it just gives a little more breathing room and a little more space for cars who want to access Main Street, because Main Street was built almost parallel to I-15 right there. So we'll build an interchange over there. Hill Air Force Base, if you think about like where the Jimmy John's and the True Hotel and some of the Northrop Grumman buildings, the area where I-15 is currently will be demolished. That was part of that land swap.
Oh, interesting.
And they will continue to develop in similar style to what they have started developing with that land swap. Yes, with that development. Yeah. In that area where I-15 was after our construction is complete.
Okay.
So you'll be swooped way over to the east. You'll go through some development, and then you'll hit Main Street. And then from Main Street to about 250 West, it stays that 7-lane wide section. And then on the other side of 250, which is where the park is in Sunset, then it will be 5 lanes. So it'll kind of neck down a little bit. We're just trying to get as much interstate traffic off, give them a place. And then really the capacity of the road doesn't need to be so intense as people start to peel off. So from 250 all the way to where we have finished constructing on 2000 West at the intersection of 18 and 2000, that will be 5 lanes. But the cool thing is we're building a bridge up and over the railroad tracks. Oh. So people don't have to stop and wait at the railroad tracks.
That is the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
I love that. I hate waiting for the train.
So many people
the bane of my existence. Yeah. And I go months without having to wait.
But when you do,
it's for 10 minutes at a time, and it's always when I'm running or more, and it's when I'm running late.
Yeah. So we will start the bridge construction in October, so very soon. So far we've been building a bridge off in kind of what looks like Hill Air Force Base land so far away, and we are going to bring that kind of level of noise and construction right onto 1800 North as we start to, we call it driving piles, and I don't know that people really understand what that is, but imagine a very big round piece of steel that serves as kind of the foundation, the bridge supports to the walls that go, on each side of the bridge, and they have to pound that very, very, very deep into the ground. And so that, though that will be noisy and it will vibrate and it will feel like an earthquake in your house, but they have set up vibration monitors all around the area to monitor that they will stay within these acceptable noise levels, or noise and vibration levels. And so it'll feel really scary, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
And from what I know, the workers only work 7 to, what are their?
Usually 7 to 4 or 5. Sometimes they have some activities that need to take them overnight, or, they might not believe it, but we do try to not be in everybody's way all the time. So if there's a thing that we can do in an off-peak hour that makes more sense. If we're shutting off water or if we're doing a thing, let's try to do it overnight so that it's minimal impacts to the people who are right there. We are very mindful of when we're working in a business community or when we're working in a residential community, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be super noisy overnight in a residential community. We don't want to turn water off in a commercial corridor through the work days. So we do try to make sense of it a little bit. We there are some limitations that we just have to get some things done at all times.
Yeah.
But we do try to be considerate of our neighbors.
I mean, and these workers, they live in this area as well.
Yes, that's the cool thing. On 1800 North, about 50% of the crew, and there's hundreds of people out there, but 50% of the crew live within this area. Clinton, Sunset, Ogden, Riverdale, Roy, they live around here. So it sounds like we're, big bad strangers coming in, like descending on your neighborhood. But these guys are supporting and building their community as much as any, right?
Yeah, and they want this done just as much as we do because they're affected by it as well.
Their families,
they're
drive
not shifted.
Through. Yeah. They're local guys, and that is, I think, such a pride point for them that they're. It feels really great to be able to work where you live and to improve your local community for your neighbors and your friends.
Oh, for sure. And that definitely, knowing that, it makes me feel a little bit better about the work going on because I know they care just as much as I do. Yep. They're people that live in the community.
Yeah. It's a really cool thing for us to have so many guys live so nearby.
Yeah. I love that. And then, okay, let's wrap up a little bit on SR 198. Anything else that you wanted to say about that? I know we touched on it a little bit in the beginning. Yeah.
So same scope of as we have on 2000 West with the 2 lanes in each direction and the widen shoulder and the path and all those things. We are currently designing, and then right now we are reaching out individually to property owners who we need to purchase right of way from. And that's always a really scary thing to hear.
Yes.
Because I know it affects the livelihoods and your life plans and things to know if somebody is going to buy your house or if they just need to buy a piece of your front yard or whatever it might be. We are going through that property by property by property on 108 right now. And we will continue to do that for about another year.
Okay.
And then as soon as that's done, we will send it out to advertisement, and we anticipate that construction will start in 2027. So there will be a little bit of overlap with 1800. 2000 West to the south will be totally done. A little bit of overlap with 1800 when that project gets started.
Okay.
And we will we don't really direct the contractor about where to go, like start in Clinton and then move north and north and north. We give them some parameters to work with, but really they tell us how they construct the job.
Yeah.
But that project the length of that is twice as long as the current 2000 West project. And so it will take a little bit longer. So I know that 2000 West, we hear it all the time, that it's been going for years. It has. It has. We are 30 days away, but we have been going for 707 days. On 2000 West.
I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Days. But just know that this next phase, as it goes through Clinton and Roy and West Haven, will take 3 years, which is as long as 1800 North will be under construction, because it is just twice as long as the 2000 West project. Okay. So there is order and method to the way the contractors construct, but it does. I know it feels long.
Yeah,
it feels long.
Yeah, for sure. But this was all great insight into a little bit deeper into the project because sometimes it can seem like, ooh, UDOT, or they're working in mystery. But all this is public information, and we can all go on UDOT, the website.
Every single project has a hotline, an email, and a website that just gives very specific project information. Once it gets into construction, we update every single week with what areas will be impacting. I'm not going to say what areas to avoid because I want you to be able to drive through all of it, right? The goal is to make it all drivable, but weekly updates of what activities we're doing and where people can anticipate construction. We have mailing lists where we send those emails to your inbox. You can get them on our website. Our hotline gets answered all day long, round the clock. And we've got, cool photos. I think some of the stuff you don't really see because you're driving by at 30, right? Nobody's speeding through a construction zone,
Yeah,
right?
no, don't do that.
Right? No, nobody's speeding through a construction zone. But you're driving by pretty fast and you don't really know what's happening.
Mhm.
But the curiosity is still there. And
Yes.
we've learned that people love to geek out on some of these really cool things that we're doing.
Mhm.
And so we dive right in with the crews and we take photos and we're there. So we've got good, like yearbook photos
Yeah.
on each of our websites. So
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah.
looked through them a couple days ago. You've got detailed drawings
Mhm.
on all the projects. I mean, I can zoom in and see exactly how many lanes and the turning
Yeah.
lane. You can see exactly
We've
what's
got-
going to go on.
GIS maps that show the exact line work on every single one of our projects
Mhm.
that's available to the public to look and see. So no secrets. I just hope that people understand that it is available to them and that they find
Yes.
where these websites are.
You're
and
very
we can
transparent
link to them all. Yeah.
about what you're
Yeah.
doing. And I think that's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here and
Thanks.
answering some of our questions.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to say to wrap up?
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. See you, Clinton.